Hello everyone, welcome to my episode 6 of my studio building from the ground up. This is the last episode. The studio is now sort of put together. After that, it'll just be different sections that I will show you from time to time. So if you look on the in the video here now, I have a gate, a half gate that's up, and it has holes in it. It allows the cats to come through. Doesn't allow our dog to come through because one wag of his tail and he can take down a whole display of mine. So we had to put this up temporarily. The rest of the basement isn't finished yet. It's just my studio, so I can't even show you the rest of the basement. But welcome, and let's get started. Turn the lights on. The cats are allowed to walk around and roam around in here, and they have a couple of cat beds that they can sleep on. So I'm going to give you a quick panoramic view. So this is kind of my paper section here. Back there you can see I have a fabric section, a couple of mannequins. My sewing table is over there. Over here I have another table, and a work desk over there, and more that you'll get to see as we go along. So I'm going to turn around here and go into my paper section. All right, I'm going to stand back so you can see it all. I have that big cupboard that hosts all of my 12 by 12 scrapbook papers and fancy papers and handmade paper. On top of that, I have a few favorite books on display and some boxes of specialty papers. Now I'm going to just go forward a little bit. For example, this box here has Asian paper in it. And when I say Asian paper, like there's just different patterned papers and stuff that are more ethnic Asian style. And it's not paper that I use all the time, so I don't need it to take up space in my cupboards. I just have it separate in this little box. Then I have, of course, an Edith Holden book, or a couple of them, and a Margaret Wilson flower book, Lord of the Rings. If you look back there, I have a box of vellum, a box of paper doilies, and a box of tissue paper. So again, these are boxes that I've labeled to keep them separate in their own container, but not mixed in with my regular papers. So along the back wall here, you've seen the loaf pans that I have. These came from my store displays at one time. They hold different types of ephemera. I have some metal coffee lids. If you've ever tried putting those through the Sizzix machine, they cut amazing and even more beautiful through the embossing using embossing folders. And I have some tags, some note cards, and that type of stuff. On the desktop, or these crate top here, I have different ephemera pieces that I've made. So there are tags, journal cards, flip outs, all different kinds of things to use to put into journals. In the front here, I have some other greeting cards, snippets of paper, small fussy cutting, that type of thing. Some Marilyn Monroe cards. These are some small composition books that I have, some different labels. This is all stuff that I use to put in my junk journals. And then when I make stuff, I add it to the pile as well. So this ephemera box here is an old cassette box. It's a wooden cassette box. I don't know if you can tell from here, but actually I could take this out. So you can see that it held cassettes at one time. I used to have two others like this before we moved, but they were plastic, so I didn't bring those with me. This box here is a box that I made for holding my handmade ephemera. And I will be offering a tutorial very soon on how to make one of these boxes, and you'll be surprised at how fun and how easy it is. And I'm hoping that you'll make several of them to hold all of your different pieces for your junk journals. I have things like clusters. These are paperclip clusters to add to my books. And I make this stuff all the time, so this changes as I go along when I'm making different books. Back here I have one of my printers, and this printer is for quick photocopies. A lot of times I will send things to the printer from my phone because it's wireless, so I just send it to from my phone. We have the main computer and another printer on the other side of the basement here, but that's for us all to use, for both of us to use. This is that cubby that was in my previous video. I never did switch around all the shelves. I understand why they didn't. Too many things to undo. And so it is filled with mostly paper, labels, everything related to computer that I can put through the computer to print on. There are some file folders in the corners. Sometimes I cut them up and print on those as well. Up on top I have large paper and ledger paper and just different photo albums that have interesting scrap paper inside that I want to use for making journals. Then I have another cubby that I have filled with colored paper and more printer paper, and I have things like, sorry, lots of words here, graph paper, again, more ledger, that type of stuff. This 2 tubs that you see here, that's 2 tubs of journals that are in various stages to get done. Liz, I promise I'm going to be working on journals soon and get them done. She sells my journals for me. In the drawers here, I'm not going to try to open the bottom drawer because I've got this scrapbook tote in front of it. But they are filled with shipping envelopes, regular envelopes, chipboard. This one has decorative envelopes in it. This next one has airmail envelopes, coffee dyed, and other dyed envelopes. Down here I have various finished projects that are for coming up for sale. This drawer has photo paper, the 4x6 photo paper. And I don't know if you've ever bought this at the store. This is like a package of 100. And at the store, you'd pay easily $10 to $15 for a 100 pack. And a lot of times I've picked these up at the thrift shop. You can see the price on there is $1.99. And sometimes I find them for even 50 cents. And I grab them anytime I can get them because I print a lot of stuff. So I don't mind picking up and having extras. This next drawer has more small 4x6 and then lots of 8.5 by 11 photo paper. Anything from glossy to matte to presentation type papers. The bottom drawer here has a variety of ephemera, and it hasn't been organized as of yet. Sorry, I'm trying to get where there's no shadow, but that's almost impossible. It hasn't been organized yet, but I'm working on it. So down here, these wooden crates have books, all vintage books. Again, they have to be organized, but I haven't quite done that yet. The bottom one has music sheets and more books back there. This scrapbooking tote, I used to use it when I went with my girlfriends for scrapbooking, and now it just holds different kinds of odds and ends of paper that I use for my books and stuff. I have my lovely girl here. I'll just take a step back for you to see her better. And she gets dressed up in different outfits all the time. And she's wearing a belly dancing scarf on the top and pashmina cashmere scarf on the bottom with an assortment of jewelry. On the floor here is 2 more of my scrapbooking totes that I would take with me. I don't scrapbook, but I used to go with my girlfriends and they all scrapbooked. So I would work on my junk journal stuff when I was with them. It was just my way of having fun and having a day out with them. So 2 plastic tubs that still have to be sorted out, and more books and magazines down there. So once I go through this section, hope you're not getting dizzy. This shelf I bought recently, goes all the way, there's 4 shelves altogether, 1, 2, 3, and then the top 4 shelves. And it is all my Sizzix dies, the metal dies, the large Bigsy dies, and die cuts that I've made. So this is where I keep all of that, and it will eventually get unpacked. I am very organized with my Sizzix. They're all numbered, and I have a book, but I just haven't found the book to show you the book. And I think I'm still missing 1 box of Sizzix dies, so that's probably where the book is. Up on top, I have some jars of stuff. If you haven't noticed, I will tell you that I do not like plastic. So you will not see plastic tubs or containers, except for the ones that I haven't unpacked yet. So anything anything that goes in my room is unpacked and put into jars or boxes or decorative containers so that I can get a visual. This stand here is yet to be filled, but I'm going to have 2 jars of washi tape in here. There's 1 roll, so I have a feeling that the rest of the washi tape is probably where that Sizzix book is. On the top here, this is going to have a variety of napkins. These are just napkins that I've picked up recently. So it will be filled with napkins, but it won't be all of my napkins, of course. That I will put away somewhere else. On top here is all my different tools. I have different edge cutting scissors. I have my paint brushes and paint sprayers. I have my different chomper tools for cutting corners and decorative edges and making holes. And then, you know, the big kick, of course, or the big chomper doesn't fit in anything, so it has to be on its own. I have one of those tools for doing my Sizzix, taking all those little bits out. And another thing that doesn't fit in the box is this just little mini portable cutter. More tools down there. Again, all things that you can see. Does anybody remember these? I think I can show you. They're little McDonald's coffee stirring spoons, and I've had them all these years, and I use them for glitter or stirring paints and stuff like that, and then I just wash them and use them over and over again. I'm going to flip you around. See, there's another empty box for more of my Sizzix dies when I find them. I'm going to flip you around here. I have an enamel table that I brought with me. And this is where I have my cutting guillotine and my Sizzix machine. The rest of the table is left empty so that I can quickly come over and cut something, and I don't put anything else on there. It's just for those 2 pieces of equipment. In my last video, I showed you my shelves that were empty at the time, and they're now filled with wooden stamps. I'm just going to take you to the top there, and it goes all the way down to the floor. I'm still missing 1 more box of wooden stamps, but I'm pretty sure I have enough room here to fit them all into. The shelf beside it is where I'm going to have all my paints and inks and liquidy things, and a set of brass rabbits, because every paint shelf should have brass rabbits. And my textured paints, duct tape, the pads for the distress inking. These are magnets. And I think I told you in my last video that you should save all the caps to your glue sticks. because I have a fun project coming up. I hope you're saving them. Down on the bottom is bottles of dye and large bottles of paint. Going back up again, on top here are some decorative boxes again that I've made. One holds markers, some extra stamp pads and ink because we can never have enough, right? And some rubber stamps. It's mostly rubber stamps that I've made using that lino tool. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. So it's mostly tools related to making my own rubber stamps. Then I have a box of pastels and chalk. Now these are all boxes that I've decoratively covered myself, and it just helps me to remind myself what's in them, and it's all stuff that I don't use on a regular basis, so I might as well have it up and out of the way, but I still know what's in them because I put labels on everything. Some extra glue and adhesive, double-sided tape, and Dauber ink. Dauber ink is, you know, the bottles of ink that you use for playing bingo. Well, the reason I have them is every time I would go to bingo with my aunt, I wouldn't bring a dauber with me, and I'd have to buy a new dauber each time. So I ended up with a large collection of dauber ink. But in a pinch, red and green dauber ink mixed together make brown, and we all use a lot of brown and stuff, right? And it's fun for decorative dot making and stuff on your projects. So moving over here, I have another one of those loaf pan shelves, and it holds my basic tools, some glue, handy wipes, and extra glue, and more glue, glue sticks, that type of thing. Then I have my little handy box on the table here. This table I picked up for $20. It's not perfect, but it does the job. It's very shaky, so I know I can't do videos on this table unless I have my camera off the table. A little place to hold bits and pieces. I don't keep a lot of tools on my desk, and the reason for that is I like to be able to get up to go get things. You know, we get to the point where we sit for hours and we don't get enough exercise. So I make sure that I get up to use my scissors machine. I get up to get a piece of paper. It's a constant thing for me. And, you know, if I don't get my steps in, at least I get up and down a few times a day. Again, so just little bits and pieces on my desk. This lamp is a brass lamp, and it's so cute. And I actually left the price tag on it, if you can believe it. I paid $3 for it. I washed it up, but I just had to leave the price tag on to show you guys. So now I can take it off. Because, yeah, it was $3. This chair is one of my chairs that I sit on. I left the price tag on that, and I paid $10 for this chair. I don't know if you can see it. So you can see that I don't invest a lot of money into my furniture and displays that I use. So on the table, I have a box of printables that are all printed. I have a couple of projects that are on the go that I'm working on, and a box of bits and pieces because we all have those. Underneath the table is more bits and pieces and 2 boxes that I have yet to unpack. Coming back up, just a few little things that I put on the wall here. These are some of the tubs I still have yet to unpack, and they are outside the room. This window is going to have a screen on it, but I will still be able to see the TV way over there, and you can see that nothing is finished in the basement yet. So then I'm going to turn you around, and this is my jewelry and beads section. The boxes of beads haven't been unpacked yet, but I'm starting to find a few findings and bits and pieces. So there's some chain here, some charms and bracelet parts, a few beads that I've found. These are all going to get put into jars and other containers as I go along. And I bought a few jars at the thrift shop. And I'm just, you know, as we use a pickle jar, I'm getting another jar or a jam jar. So the stuff will sit in baggies or containers until I actually get a chance to unpack it into a jar. And down here is bags of jewelry, because I love jewelry and I use a lot of jewelry in my art. And then down here I have jars of jewelry, as I was saying, and there's a jar of keys. And down here is boxes of jewelry and more boxes of jewelry. Once I have more jars, they will all be put out in jars, and some of it will get hung up as well. Up here I have some tin cans and they are all full of pennies. And the reason I keep pennies is sometimes I use them in my art as well. And then I have some jewelry cord. Now going way up at the top here are more of these boxes. These were all boxes from Kodak and they have yet to be decorated. This is a big jar of milk caps and just a decorative piece there. So these boxes, I will decorate them. They are full. That's why they have ribbons on them. It's just in case the lid comes off. Then I have two more up here. One is filled with bottle caps and bingo chips, and those I use a lot in my art. Pencil crayons and gel pens. Don't use them that often, but I like to have them available quickly if I want to use them. A tin can, believe it or not, has nothing in it, but it's just so pretty. And two more empty boxes that are waiting to be decorated. So now I am using mostly Kodak boxes, but if you don't have a Kodak box, an old game box works just nicely to decorate the outside and then fill it with things that you want to put aside but still have handy. And one of these game boxes is awesome. These boxes are really sturdy and hold a lot of extra product. So I'm not getting in the mirror here, but I have this dresser. I don't know if you can see it all the way down here. This dresser is filled with all the stuff that I sell on my website. So if you go to my website, you'll see all the products. They're all in those drawers. Underneath it is a box of bubble wrap and all shipping supplies that I use. And I'm just slowly decorating in this corner. I have a jar of keys. These are all going to be used for necklaces and stuff. I have some, don't want to get too close here. These are all handmade tassels and boho beads that I've made. And this is another tassel that I've made. The top part, you can see the top part there. That's actually a slide from a photo slide. So that just gives you an idea of what's going on in that corner. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see more. And that brings me to the next display. Now the dresser back there with the mirror is something I brought with me from the move. But this cabinet I picked up for $45 locally. And it is kind of my jewelry and bling area. Now, I have a jewelry stand. Lots of jewelry on this thing. I have a Curio shelf here with jewelry, or I guess these are little ornament things. I used to keep knicky-knacks on a shelf, but not anymore. And then more jewelry. I don't know where I'm getting the reflection from, but Might be from the ceiling. So this is my bling jewelry. Okay, Thelma and Barb, I know you're watching. Sorry. This one here holds different beaded tassels and boho beads. Some made by myself, some made by friends. I just like it because it looks pretty, and I like having all that stuff here. This is an art card somebody made for me, and it was just fitting for this area. Jane was quite annoyed to discover that her choice of jewelry was inappropriate for an evening at the bowling alley. Yeah, too bad for everybody else, because Jane looks amazing. Then I'm going to take you... Oh, I guess I should show you what's in these drawers, right? Okay, the first one you open up, and it's punches. Lots of punches. The second one you open up, more punches. This third one is blingy things that are still in packages that I have yet to take out of the package. Like there's stuff like little pearl dots and some other charms and stuff. I don't leave any of this in packages. I like to put them on display. So this is just stuff that I have to unpack and deal with. And there's more of that kind of stuff down there. Yikes. And then inside here is mostly a little bit more bling, but there's mostly hardware for putting together books and another box of stuff that I have to get to that I haven't. I think this is mostly stuff for selling on the website. So that takes us around the corner. Sorry about the fingers holding the camera. And I have a cabinet here filled with different pieces from various artists and friends who make things. It's my art inspiration area. I have some suitcases up on top. They are mostly filled with art things, and some of them are actually empty. I have that beautiful set that I showed you in my last video. So I'm just take a step back again for you to see the whole thing. I have lots of suitcases. Some are filled with fabric. Some are filled with art supplies. Some are actually empty. And this antique table with the glass tray on top has been in my family for, I don't know, at least 100 years. And I have some beautiful placemats that are Asian placemats that are embroidered. Again, on the shelf here, I have lots of different art and little collections of things. In the drawers, this is my laminator drawer supplies. And my comb binding supplies. And down here I keep my comb binding machine, my laminator, a really long arm stapler, my cinch machine. I have a second laminator because I bought it for $3. And then you can't really see, but there's more comb binding supplies in there as well. And when I say comb binding, it also has the cinch coils. And I have a Zutter machine in there as well. So when you go around to this side, this is an area that is still to be done. So I have a few tubs here yet to open up and a couple of projects to work on. I'm starting to work on the wall in that corner. This is again a corner of inspiration, different gifts from people, different memorabilia that I have that I enjoy and love. And I do come in my studio and I touch and feel things and I laugh, and I have a heart there from my friend Val from when I turned 60, and then all the hearts behind it are from my gal pals who gave me all these things for my birthday when I turned 60. 60, oh my God. I have a ladder here, and it is holding some of my boho snippets, or snippet rolls, but I unrolled them just for display on the ladder. And the ladder allows my cats to easily climb up without disturbing too much stuff and go to the window. Now the window that's over here is going to have a catwalk outside eventually, but right now that you can see all the snow, it's not going to happen this week. And then I have another little wall of inspiration here. I'm kind of color coordinating everything. That mannequin up there is holding some glass crystals. I use them in my art, but while they're waiting to be used, instead of having them in a drawer, I like to have them on display. And then each of these boxes holds different little goodies and things in it. Back there I have another one of those stands filled with jars. This one holds wooden spools, thread spools, more thread, some buttons. I have some wooden spools here. Down on the floor there, I have a box of Italian frames. I don't know why I started collecting Italian frames, but they're all brass, heavy metal frames. And then I have another mannequin here. She's wearing a scarf and another belly dancing scarf as a top. And lots of bling around her neck as well. On the floor, I have sewing baskets, another small collection of containers of mine. They all have sewing supplies in them, vintage sewing supplies, stuff that I sell in sewing. I keep empty wooden spools because I wrap lace around them. This is a stand for lace, although I normally don't keep lace and ribbons on spools because it just takes up room, but this is such a cute display. I do have enough rolls to fill it, and that'll be about all the rolls you'll see. The rest get taken off the roll because it takes too much room. It looks too commercial. I'd rather wait until I have some nice wooden spools to decorate and put the lace wrapped around them than showing cardboard and paper stuff. Another one of these wire baskets. I've been picking these up at thrift shops for years, and I cannot believe how many I've found. The same one. I've got at least 4 or 5 of them now. But yeah, I filled jars with buttons. I have a button issue, I think, and more buttons. And then the sealer jars, I like to decorate the tops. I use a half of a styrofoam ball glued to the top of the lid and then decorate it around the end of it just to give it a more, I don't know, bohemian style to it. I have some tassels hanging here. And I have my sewing machine. And then some stuff I haven't put away yet. And beneath that I have more sewing baskets because that is another weakness with the buttons and spools. And going back up, this electrical box will be covered eventually, and it'll have sort of a, it'll look like cupboard doors, but you know, inside will be this electrical box, but on the outside I'll be able to use that for additional decorating. And I think that's where I will put some of my small quilted pieces that I've got, or different snippet rolls and things that I have to put out and put on display. I have these wooden boxes. There's that one, like a Curio box, that one there, and the one on the end there. I haven't filled them yet because, again, I have stuff to put on them, but I just haven't unpacked it yet. And those were my mother's, and I've kept them because she loved them so much, and so I fill them with things that I love and things that belong to her as well. And yeah, when I have a chance to have them all filled, I will show you again. So I'm going to take you into the fabric and ribbon area. This was the first stand that Tom made for me. It has 3 shelves, and that holds doilies, linen, some burlap, Christmas stuff. Okay, going back there, you'll see a blue sock there. No, I don't sew socks and I don't save socks, but it's a very soft material, and I make small toys for one of my cats who likes to play with toys. So I just cut up pieces as I need it to make her a new toy, because she loses them all the time. This is fabric that's going to get cut up and made into tea towels. I like going to the thrift shop and buying these beautiful tablecloths that are 100% cotton and tearing them up and making them into tea towels. It's not like I'm saving huge amounts of money, but it is cheaper than going and buying tea towels. And if you buy a tea towel today, it's nowhere near what we were used to using all our lives. And I still do dishes by hand, and I like good cotton tea towels. So if you're ever at a thrift shop and you see these tea towel or this cotton fabric tablecloths, a lot of times they have a tiny little stain on them, and they're charging you $2 or $3 for it, and you can make a dozen tea towels out of it. So keep it in mind. So these are the fabric and trims and lace and ribbon shelves, all color coordinated. I showed you these in the last video. I use a lot of wools and trims, like the fiber trims and stuff for making my projects. And so you saw how I use these boxes and how I fill them and how much they hold. Now the fabrics haven't been put together really nicely. I mean, they're just thrown in because I've been sorting as I go along. These are not my good fabrics. These are my fabrics that I use for junk journaling, for making snippet rolls, for doing small assorted little projects. And so it can be messy. I have to iron things once in a while and straighten them out. And then I like to take a box and dump it out onto the table and pick through it, just to find different treasures. So this just gives you an idea of some of the fabrics and things that I work with. And then up on the wall, I have some different saris and scarves. I have some pashmina, cashmere scarves. These are all things that I like to cut up and use in my art. And I know some of you are cringing, going, why would you cut that? Because, you know, I find them all the time. I collect them all the time. So if I want a scarf, I can keep it for a couple of weeks, wear it, and then wash it and cut it up for art. So I don't have to feel guilty about doing that. And it's something I enjoy collecting. I don't pay lots of money for them. And again, it's fun to have and fun to collect. And it just shows you the kind of stuff that I like. Then I have this beautiful mannequin, and she is just, I don't know, it's so hard to show you the full length of her without turning the camera. And if I turn the camera, then this goes all wonky for the video. But she's just a wire mesh, sort of the top and maybe up to about her hips. And then the rest of her is just a metal stand. I don't know if I can show you the bottom of her. Not really. But she holds all my scarves. Well, not all, but some of my scarves. And she's sinking now because she belongs on a hook, and I think the hook is in another box. But yeah, she's holds all my scarves, and she will eventually hold some brooches as well. I started pinning brooches on her, so when I have a chance to, I will fill her up with brooches along the top. And then I've saved the last cupboard and shelf for the piece de resistance. This is my Curio collection. Okay, it sits on a set of drawers. The drawers I paid, the chest of drawers I paid probably about $50 for the set. I've taken a lot of the handles off because I use them in my kitchen cupboards upstairs, which is another story. But then when you come up, I'm using different little Curio shelves. These are all shelves. They're not typesetter boxes. And I have filled them with lots of fun things. So I'm going to come up close here. I have some frozen Charlottes, some angel parts and angel heads. I have some fairies, and I have knobs and brass pieces and metal pieces and doodads. And then on this side here, I have some measuring tapes and more metal and brass pieces and light bulbs and clips, bullets, door plates, even a pair of glasses, I think, in here somewhere. Let's see, way over there. So these are all my little Curio items. And then I have this shelf. Now this shelf must have been a sorting shelf from maybe sorting mail or I don't know, sorting something. You can see the A to Z numbers are still on it. And they came with wooden boxes that I've used in other areas of this room. And I started making boxes with windows to hold things. Like this has got my bulldog clips in it. And I'll just take a step back so you can see the kinds of things that are in it. It's got game pieces and little frames and brads and dominoes and Scrabble pieces and cut up rulers. I haven't put handles on these yet, but I'm going to get to that. So this just shows you the cut up rulers. I cut them up and I put a hole in them, and then I use them as dangly bits on my journals. Up on top here I have more little jars of stuff. There's some brass buttons, some pull tabs from drink cans in case I need to make a hanger on something. I have some little game pieces again. Some army men, because you never know when you're going to need an army man, right? Brass tack pins, some spoons. Back there I have more brass brads. These are flat ones so that I can make different brads with them. I have some watch parts up here and watches. And then I have rulers. I have a lot of rulers, but you know what? I picked them up for 10 cents, 25 cents, and I don't feel guilty about buying them. They just automatically go in the cart. So you can see if I step back, I have made half of the boxes to go in here. They're all made by hand. I wouldn't mind doing some type of a tutorial to show you how to do those. And at the same time, I have plans to make some for some of my beading shelves. I don't want to use all jars on those shelves, so I may use some of these boxes that are handmade. So again, if it's something that you're interested in learning how to make, just let me know. Yeah, so I have plans to make the rest of them. I have a whole package of these masquerade masks that I'm going to do something with one day. And up on top here is this big jar full of milk caps because, you know, you can never have enough of those either, right? And these are all things that I put in my kits, so I don't feel guilty about having them. In the drawers, I have rubber stamps, more supplies for my website, more painting supplies and stencils. On this side, I have acrylic stamps and ink. This is my glue gun supplies and electrical cords and things. More stencils and paint, and I have a brand new jelly plate that I'm excited to get to use. And one more step around the corner. And this is my glittering embossing little table. It's a little tiny desk that has the 4 shelves or the 3 shelves. I'll just take a step back so you can see it. And I just have baskets filled with ink, the glitter glue in bottles. I have dyes for candles. I have embossing and burnishing type things, and then the supplies for them. Toothpicks, little sponges. I have, what do they call this stuff? Glossy accents and that kind of thing. I have glitter in jars here because when you take it out of all the bottles and put it in little plastic bags that you can pick up from your small change store, you'd be surprised at how little space they take when I've got them just in 2 jars compared to having all the mini little bottles. If I could do that with the glue bottles down here, I would do that in a second. I have those, I think they're called micro beads, and I will do something with them someday. I don't know what at this point, but I really just bought them because I like the little glass bottles. And to take them out of the packages, the corks don't sit in there very well, so I don't want to take them out of the packages to show you. Another one of my boxes, it says embossing supplies and glitter, but because I was able to switch the glitter over to little packets, and because my embossing supplies had outgrown half of the space of this box, it now takes up the whole box, and the glitter is now on the side. You open the drawer to this box, and I have my embossing gun, bigger bags of glitter, because I do a lot of stuff with glitter at Christmas time. And I have space for all my sequins and some bronzing powders and things for working with clay that I have yet to unpack. So I still have a ways to go. This box down here holds rolls of stuff, and it's out of the way, but still a great place to store things, and I know what's in there. And this box here is stuff that I'm going to be giving away in one of the giveaways for Cara Brandon's Organize Yourself for 2022. LGO 2022 is the hashtag. And so this is just a start of the items that I'll be putting in the box. And everything in this room, there'll be a little bit of something of every section that will also be going into the box as a prize for subscribing and liking and commenting on the different artisans that are participating in this Let's Get Organized collaboration. So yeah, if you like the video, leave a comment. I hope this gives you an idea of what my room is like. I should say one more thing, and that's if I'm sitting in my little settee area here, you see there's a big space here. And my sewing table pushes into the wall, and along the side of this cabinet here is a folding table right here. And I can put the folding table in this dance floor space. Look how big this is. So I can fit a folding table in here, and I can easily have 4 to 6 guests, and we can have a crafting day. So anytime you want to come over, I'm waiting for you. And the coffee and tea will always be on. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope it's inspired you a little bit. I hope you don't think I'm too crazy. I'm starting to think I should change my name to the Artisan Hoarder, but I do use everything, and I do enjoy everything, and I love coming in and looking at it, and I love the touchy-feely aspect of it, and the colors, and the crazy eclecticness. As I said, not everything got unpacked. There will be more, and I will try to do an update maybe in a few months, just to show you how things might have changed along the way, and things I might have moved out of here or added on, and how I might have changed my displays. But I hope this gives you a general idea of what it looks like in here, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by. And if you are interested in any of my tutorials that are coming up, just stay tuned and press the subscribe button and the notification button so that you know when the videos are coming. Talk to you soon. Have a very creative week. And thanks for stopping in. Bye for now.